Hello, folks, my friends, everybody. We're going to wrap up chapter 10 today, and we're going to do another episode, and it's going to start in chapter 11, and of course, chapter 11 is only going to be one episode. You'll see why it's only one episode when we get to it. But we're going to cover the rest of chapter 10 today, just episode 38. Then we're going to go right into episode 39 and cover chapter 11. Chapter 11 might be a little bit longer than usual. Depends on how fast I can get to the points. But it's going to be interesting on this one because these are the last two episodes where everything's written down. I went and wrote down by memory, of course, and I wrote it down so I can carry the story forward. This right here, which is going to be chapters 12 through 18, is going to be all ad lib. I mean, this is just all poems right here. All this is just poems, and it's going to be strictly by memory accounts. And I may have to switch back and forth a few times because I might forget something, but you will get through it and you'll see how we'll figure out how it goes on as we get to it. We'll start on that next week. Of course, chapters 12 through 18, it's going to start off the very rough 2 years for me, and then gradually get better as time progresses, to an extent, anyway. New place, new start. I end up losing my home, of course, but we'll cover all that when we get there next week. But right now, we're going to finish off chapter 10 and start on and then finish off chapter 11. Okay, like I said, we separated. I'm at Grandpa's. I'm paying him $200 a month to rent out the room. If it was Grandma there, she wouldn't have a problem with being there. But of course, like I said, she had passed away, and so I can't take advantage of Grandpa. Of course, that'd be wrong. So I'm gonna pay him $200 a month, paying her giving her $400 to make the mortgage payment. I've gotten Magic Spring season passes for the boys. Had them on the weekends. We dropped them off Friday night. We picked them up Friday night. We had Saturday and Sunday together. And we went and did our thing. Enjoyed our time together. That is until an old family friend called me one day. I'm not going to mention any names. It's not worth mentioning. It was not his intention to cause problems, but he was trying to help me out. I tell you the truth, because he thought I'd been done wrong, and he thought that the situation at the house was not going the way it's supposed to go, and the kids were missing X amount of days from school. They ended up having to do summer school to make up for the time lost in school because she wouldn't get up out of bed and get them to school. House was a disarray, was messy. It wasn't food stuff and garbage everywhere, but clothes were not being done. Of course, we had a bug issue, and having to have a messy house or a dirty house didn't help with the bug issue. So he called me and asked me should he call social services on her. And I told, this is my exact words to him. I said, you do what you think is necessary. If you think it's the right thing to do, go ahead and call them, but leave my name out of it, because I'm kind of content with the way things are going, being able to see my boys. And he called social services, And of course Heather confronted him about it, and he said he'd talk to me about it. And of course when they heard my name, Rhonda immediately, took offense to it and said, "Yeah, he's trying to take my kids from you." And that was farthest from the truth as could possibly be. I was not trying to take nobody. I wasn't trying to. Matter of fact, when social services came to my door and knocked on it and asked me questions about it, I even defended her. Yes, I defended the woman when social services came to my house and confronted me about the kids missing school and missing that and doing this and doing that, and her not taking care of the kids properly. If I wanted to take the kids, I would have poured some sugar on it and buttered it up and made it look like a piece of shit. Made it that. I would have turned her into the biggest bitch on the face of the planet. But that's not what I did. I defended her because I wanted to just keep seeing my kids. She came to pick them up one day, and when I went to call, she did a couple about a day or two later. She said they're not going to be allowed to come over no more. And I said, "Excuse me?" She said, "Well, you called social services." I said, "No, the fuck I did not. I didn't call social services. You had Jonathan do it, or someone else do it. You had this person do it." I said, "No, I did not." I told this person, whatever he wanted to do, leave my name out of it. And she said, "Well, you're not going to be able to see the kids, and blah, 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 blah. You come over and blah, 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 blah." This is the second time in our tenure together, the second time she's tried to take the kids from me. Which is why I waited till they were 6 years old, so they knew who I was before I moved out. They know who I am, and I'm there constantly making phone calls. I'm going over there constantly. I'm constantly trying to be in her life, and she's constant. And it's these last 2 or 3 years, she has done nothing but try to take my boys away from me, or keep them away from me, cause problems for me. Started unnecessary fights with me. And one of the fights that she started with me before we separated was an electricity bill. Yeah, an electricity bill. I went to her work, and before I went to work, and told her we had a electricity bill shut-off notice if we didn't pay this bill by Friday. It was a Wednesday. And I went to work, came back home that evening, and confronted her about the bill and asked her, "Did you take care of it?" She said, "What am I supposed to pay with? My looks? I don't have the money to take care of this." A bit, Rhonda, if we don't pay it, they're going to shut us off. So I spent the next 2 hours calling around trying to find someone to borrow money from, $200 worth, so we can pay our electricity bill. My grandpa finally relented, and I told him I'd pay him back the following Sunday, because that's when I get paid. But the electricity bill is going to be called on Friday, so I can't wait till Sunday to pay the bill. So I borrowed it for Friday. That morning at 10 a.m., I remember it clearly. I went out the door to go pay the bill. To go get the money from Grandpa so I can go pay the bill. She said, "Where are you going?" I want you to hear what I'm going to say. I want you to hear it clearly. That's what I'm saying. But she picked fights with me just because. And see, she finally admitted later on down the line why she did it. She was trying to get me to leave. Because I'm going to go to Grandpa's house and get $200 so I can go pay the bill. I've already paid it. So what the fuck was I fight about last night? If you've already paid the electric bill, right after you got off work, the previous day, then why are you fighting with me that night about the electric bill that you didn't pay it? Bam! That's what I'm talking about. Fights for no reason. Just because. Just to piss me off. Knowing I got a bad temper, she did it just to piss me off. Because she was having a bad day and she was trying to get me to leave. And here, all she needed was an excuse to take my sons away from me. And for 2 weeks, she accomplished it. For 2 weeks, I was not allowed to go over there or see my sons. I called repeatedly. I was afraid to go over there because I thought she's going to call the law on me and have me fucking arrested or some shit. I went to attorneys. I got sick to my stomach because I couldn't see my kids. I mean, I threw up in an attorney's office one time, trying to figure out what I can do to stop this woman from taking my kids from me. This is a vengeful kind of person that she turned into because she got pregnant with twins that she never wanted to begin with. She didn't want any more kids. The 4 kids that she had, she was done with. But we got caught up in the heat of the moment. We had twins, and she was pissed off about it. And she tried for 6 years to disrupt our marriage because she was mad about having the twins, and she was pissed off because she lost. Because usually when she had your kids, she lost the weight, went back to her figure. In this case here, they stretched her out so much she remained overweight, and she lost her figure, and I guess it made her angry. But it took 2 to tango. So blaming me for all your troubles, in my opinion, it was dead wrong. Now someone's called social services, and of course I defended her, and she tries to take my kids away. But I was persistent. I would spend the next several months trying to prove to her that I had no intention of taking the freaking kids. She finally would talk to them on the phone. Finally relented a few weeks later. Let them come back over. But they had liaisons. Either Joey or Heather had to come with them. She still didn't trust me, thinking I was going to take the kids. Anybody that knows me knows I'm not a vengeful person. I never have been. Vengeance takes care of itself through karma. I don't go for vengeance. I don't go for that crap. I don't deal with it. I don't mess with it. Because as soon as you try to get revenge on somebody, they'll turn around, they'll bite you in the ass. It happened. Not to me. It happened to somebody else. And we'll cover that as we carry on with the story. I didn't have to do a thing. Didn't have to do a thing. I even took my half of the tax return, the $1,500. Instead of spending on myself, I went and spent it on the kids, Joey and Heather. We went shopping. If I have an intention of taking your children from you, then why the fuck I'm going to spend $1,500 when I can use that for a damn lawyer to take you guys shopping for school supplies and such? If I seem a little angry at this moment in time, it's because this right here made me angry. This right here made me angry. I get $300 to Heather. And I got season passes for everybody. Boy, I'm a vengeful person. I got season passes for everybody. I give $300 to Heather. I spend $1,500 on you. All that could have went to a damn lawyer. I could have divorced you and filed for full custody of the boys. Right then, right there. But I didn't. They were finally, about a month or two later, finally allowed to spend the night with me again. And I still go over there and spend some time with them. I even give her foot massages and back rubs from time to time because her back hurts. Well, I'm a vengeful person. But yet, she's the one trying to take my kids from me. You know, I mean, eventually, you know, we got back to where it was going. And we went other than the shopping spree and my tax return, we even went to Lake Catherine. The last trip I went to Lake Catherine. Last time I was there, went on a camping trip together. We played some putt-putt golf, hiked some trails, did some swimming, went to Mid-American Museum, had a freaking blast. But finally getting to see my kids again. And finally getting to spend some time with them. And finally her realizing I had no intention of taking them made me kind of happy and content. Because I was back in the place where I wanted to be. Free from the fighting and able to see my kids. And even spend time with Joy and Heather. Even though Heather kind of lost some of her love for me. And Joey too, but Joey was never verbal about it. Every so often he might be, but I don't guess they realized the calamity of what was going on. They were supporting their mother. I can respect that to an extent, but taking vengeance on somebody that treated you right, was a father figure to you when you didn't have a father, that kind of hurt my feelings a little bit. Kind of broke my heart some. Of course, we would eventually make amends. Of course, we'll cover that all down the line as well. But at this moment in time, you know, it wasn't going very well with Joey and Heather. Chris and Tim had already left. Chris had joined the Air Force, and Tim had then moved off to Montana. He had met a girl from Montana, and he went up there to be with her. But now I'm kind of happy. I got my boys back. We spend time together again, doing the Magic Springs. Going to the park, going to the movies, just chilling. And which was the inspiration for this poem here, which is the last poem of chapter 10 and the last poem in the written segment of the storyline, Storytime with Pops. But like I said, after this one, after I get to a chapter 11, I'm going to explain chapter 11 in a minute when we come back. But after this one, everything else is through memory alone. Like I said, everything else before that has been written down so I can carry the story through. When we start chapter 12 next week, everything else is by memory alone. Nothing's been written down. So here's the last poem of this section here, chapter 10, Shadow Can't Help It. Lying on my bed, I'm very exhausted. My body, however, is very restless. I doze off slowly. He comes to life. My shadow pulls himself of me. He grabs my keys and dances out the door. Into my car he goes and starts and leaves. My shadow first to a nightclub. With every lady he dances freely. Rhythm of the music, heavy. He leaves the nightclub to a park. Along the concrete trail he dances more. The beat just refusing to go away. Into a game room, a movie theater. My shadow, a night on the town. Back in the car now, returning home. The sun is beginning to rise. He parks the car, returns to my side. I stretch, I'm yawn. I'm still exhausted. Getting up, I get dressed I head for my car. The engine is warm. My gas is low. Puzzled, confused, I start it and go. Shadow can't help it. And with that, we'll end chapter 10.
Really? That's the end of it?
That's the end of chapter 10. And chapter 11, like I said, is going to be only one episode. And give me a couple minutes, and I'll come back, and I'll explain chapter 11 to you. And we'll rip through chapter 11. It's only going to be one episode. And we'll see you in a few minutes. Bye.